Welcome to Behind the Signs, where I sit down with local business owners to hear their story.
So I'm here today with Cory Roman, and we're going to get into a little bit about what Cory does and how that can help you as a potential home buyer. So, Cory, welcome. Appreciate you sitting down with me today.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, very cool. So tell me a little bit about your current role, a little bit about your background, and kind of how you landed and what you do now.
Yep. So Cory Roman. I'm from the Eastern Panhandle in general. I currently am the Community Development Administrator for the City of Martinsburg. So in the Community Development Department for the City of Martinsburg, we have two federal block grant programs. The one that I run is called the Community Development Block Grant, otherwise known as CDBG. And the other one I run is HOME, which is what we've worked, together with. And we'll probably discuss a little bit today, but HOME is the Home Investment Partnership Program. Both of these are through HUD, and HOME is more on the affordable development side of housing. So you can build new housing. You can do what we typically work together with, which is the HAP program, which is no deferred, no interest loans for first-time home buyers. And then you can also do like tenant-based rental assistance and supportive services, a lot of things that all go towards the development of affordable housing in the area. So that's currently what I do. Before that, I served 4 years on the city council for the city of Martinsburg. Within those 4 years, I was appointed as the treasurer and also the mayor pro tem, so kind of like the vice mayor for a year. And it was actually at the end of that term, I was in City Hall and talking with just department heads in general, because that's one of the things I like to do is just to talk with, different folks in City Hall and just see how they're doing in general. And I came across the role of the Community Development Administrator, a lady named Nancy Strine. You've worked with Nancy in the past. And she said that she was retiring. And so I was like, well, when are you retiring? I was like, okay, well, that sounds kind of interesting. And she was like, well, I'm retiring at the end of the year. I'm looking to bring somebody in so that she can train them up and have them ready to go, when they're done. And I knew that my time on council at that point was over. And I wanted to stay involved with the city of Martinsburg. I think that the city of Martinsburg is it's a small city, right? But it's the hub of the Eastern Panhandle. Right. So working for the government, the city of Martinsburg I always thought was very important and something that not a lot of folks really aspire to do. And I kind of took that hat from a young age. So I wanted to keep it rolling. So I put my application in for the Community Development Administrator job, and thankfully I was able to get it. So now, what's today, the 25th? I mean, we're about a year in. Okay. So I'm really enjoying the work that I've been doing and trying to grow the department and different things of that sort. So it's been great so far.
Cool. Wow, I didn't realize it's been a year already since you've been in that role. So. Yeah. Very cool. Also, didn't realize that we had some mutual friends and acquaintances.
Yep, it's a small world. It's a small world. It's good to always make connections with folks, right? Because you never know. We've been friendly since we met, right? But it's just like when you add that extra layer of somebody that we both have a good connection with, it's like, okay, well then I know that dude's solid anyway, right? So for sure. No, it's awesome.
Very cool. All right, so you kind of touched on it a little bit, but for those that don't really know, what the HUD Home Program HAP is all about, just kind of go into a little bit more detail about that and how that could help potential home buyers.
Yep. So I described it earlier that one of the grants that I work for is the HOME program. And the HOME program, I want to make the distinction because I do work for the city of Martinsburg, but the HOME grant actually covers the 3 eastern counties in West Virginia. Okay. So Morgan, Berkeley, and Jefferson counties. We can do up to $24,500 for down payment, closing costs, principal buy down.
Wow, say that again. How much?
$24,500.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and it does make a huge difference, right? I know that when you're working with buyers or clients, the big hurdle most of the time is down payment, right? I mean, that's why they typically have to go an FHA route instead of a conventional. And even when you're doing your FHA, what is it, 2.5 or 3.5?
3.5.
3.5 that you have to have down. So that's real money. So what the program does is for income qualified folks, HUD sets each year, and we actually updated it in June. It's typically around June every year, the updated income figures, and it's all based on your household size. So it's like, just for an example, just to throw it off the top here, like a one-person household in Jefferson County can make up to $71,500. Okay. So if you make anything below that, you're eligible for the program. And the way it works is that we would do all the eligibility requirements, make sure that you know that the home is affordable for you, look at the subsidy amount. And the way that you fulfill the term of the loan is by staying in the home for 5 years.
Okay.
So say you buy a house, we use the program, you stay in the home for 5 years, and then it's essentially wiped as a grant. So at the end of the day, it's free money compared to some of the other programs that are out there that you typically have to make a small monthly payment or you have small interest attached to it. This one, we really designed it to where it's deferred, no interest. So if you fulfill the term, stay in for 5 years, then that money's yours, and hopefully you've already built instant equity.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. I think it's definitely, we talked about this the other day, but I think it's a very underutilized program.
Yes.
And also, it's part of the reason why I wanted to sit down with you today, because I think there's also some opportunity just for awareness that, hey, this is out there, this is local, this is available. So
we've been trying to, as I described earlier, trying to just revamp the department in general. We've been doing a lot of outreach. Right. So I told you yesterday I was on the radio. We'll be having in August the learning session, which actually is already sold out. Now, we weren't selling tickets, but just seat wise, we already have 45 folks from the area signed up and ready to come, and that's across the sector. So we have builders coming, we have lenders coming, realtors, and I've even heard from a couple prospective clients. They're like, "Hey, can I come and listen?" And I'm like, "Sure, you can," but I also, and like I've done with you, I want to extend the olive branch to anybody out there listening that like you can hit me up and we can do one-on-ones and we can get to the specific question you may have about the program, because as you know, it is a HUD program, so there is a lot of intricacies into it, but I try to do my best to explain them, and if I don't know, I'll get the answer and get back to you hopefully in a good time frame.
Very cool. Awesome. So let's just let's dive a little bit deeper and just more about you specifically. So what's been the toughest challenge in this last year since you've taken over in this role?
So I think the big thing, so just my background in general, I'm a political science major. That was my undergrad degree, political communications to be specific. And then before that, that was my bachelor's degree. I have associate's degrees in social sciences and education. Okay. So I really felt coming into the role that I had a well-crafted education, that I'm able to help educate folks about the program. I'm also aware of the needs that are in the social services field through that degree, and then also doing just political science. I know the realm that we operate in when we're dealing with things such as federal grants. The thing that I didn't really think of when I first joined the role is how deep I was going to have to be into HUD regulations. Right. And that's just making sure that we're spending the public money in the correct ways, the right ways, making sure we're doing it to the way HUD says. So that was kind of a learning curve. I didn't go to law school, but I find myself reading HUD regulations, and I'm like, man, maybe I should have went to law school. Right.
And I feel the same way in mortgages sometimes.
Right. It's like I understand why law schools are a thing now and why lawyers are a thing, because they write these regulations and rules in a way that you have to decipher it to understand a paragraph. Sure. So that was kind of the biggest learning curve, but I'd say a year in, I'm getting better at understanding HUD terminology, and different things, because you'll see like household, for example. You think of just like household size, you're just like, okay, well, what does that mean for HUD? Right. I know what I would say if I told you my household size, but does HUD have another specific term for it? And that's what it means. And of course, like many things we learned with HUD, they do. Yeah. So it's just things like that, and also learning just like about the HAP program. I didn't mention it, but like a first-time home buyer. When I think of a first-time home buyer, that means you've never bought a house before. Right. And we've talked about it in HUD terms. That means you just haven't owned a house in the last 3 years. Right. So it's little things like that really, like, you have to make sure, you have to double check yourself, right? Like if you think you know something, find the regulation and confirm it. So that's been probably the biggest challenge for me. Right. But I'd say it's good in general though, because even now reading HUD terms, I can go to a different regulation that may be through DOT or somebody of the other sort, and I can understand kind of the frame, or I guess you'd say like the way that they structure their regulations and things. So it's been good, but it's definitely been a challenge for me.
Okay, very cool. So what's that one story? I mean, how many clients would you say you've helped out through this program in the last year? Just
In the
roughly.
last year, I'd say close to 10.
Wow. Okay. So what's that one story that really sticks out to you and just kind of you get emotional just thinking about it? And really makes the role in the program come to life for you.
Yeah. I think the one when I think about a specific client that, and you do this type of work, right? Like we understand, and we talked about it earlier, like volume versus the good feelings that you just feel from helping a family get into a situation that hopefully they start to build wealth. So when I first started on my own after the new year, I had a loan that I was working through, and it was for a single mother with 2 kids in Martinsburg, and she works her tail off, and she was just under the income threshold. So it's like she's right on the cusp. She's doing everything that she can. She has a good job. She's taking care of her kids. But when she was on the phone, she was just like, I'm tired of paying rent. I'm tired of feeling like I'm paying somebody else's mortgage. And I was like, well, you are paying somebody else's mortgage with a little bit of overhead, right? Because that's how rentals work.
Sure.
And she just expressed that she had 2 young children, and she wanted to hopefully one day, get this house paid off and have an asset that she can pass down to her kids, right? Set them up for something that she didn't feel as though she was set up for. Right. And that kind of got me, right? Because I think most people, not maybe most people were in West Virginia, but I'd say a lot of people, that is one of the ways that they do access wealth at some point is, if your parents owned a home and they paid it off, and then typically it gets passed down, or, you get to then liquidate it or turn it into a rental, or something of that sort. And to just understand that there are folks out there that want to obtain that goal, and they've consistently worked the last 5 years. Because as you know, with the mortgage, it's not like you can just wake up one day. Usually if you're a working class person and say, I'm ready to buy a house, you have to spend years in terms of building up your credit, building up reserves, making sure that you don't have, derogatory marks on your credit. So that means being on top of all your payments, paying down credit cards if you have them, things of that sort. So I just saw kind of the process that she had gone through the last 5 years. And the program, when she approached it, was like, this is why the program is here, right? Like we have a single mother with 2 kids who's busting her tail every day. And she wants to own a house, right? She wants to start to build that equity. She wants to hopefully turn generational wealth, right, for her kids. So that was the one that kind of, it got me, right? I was like, okay, well, I think I'm in the right field, right? Community development. Like you think of community development, right? You might think of like, what housing developments are they building, right? Like things of that sort. But like I understood how the term what the term actually means, right? Like you're helping develop your community into the one that we all strive for, utopia, right, in our community. But I think that this is one of the ways that we can start to boost the family up, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, I think too, like one of the things that I feel like was different, like you said, I worked with the prior person that oversaw this program, and again, I think she did a great job for many years. But I think one of the differences, even in our first conversation, is that you really, I felt like, had that passion for what the program should stand for. It's for that person that's needs a little something extra to get over the hump. Just it's like they've done all those things, but sometimes no matter how hard that person may work, they just still haven't been able to save a certain amount of money or what have you. So I think that's what really struck me, is that I feel like you've got that passion to utilize the program for the people that it counts the most for.
Exactly. And we get into, and I described earlier that I'm a political science major, so I completely understand the political realm that we're in right now, right? Everybody sees a lot of federal subsidies as a handout. I think that this program is truly a hand up, right? And that's as a just, free society, richest nation in the world. I think that these are the types of programs that we should have for our people, right? Like these are folks that we all pay federal taxes every time we get a paycheck. And sometimes folks never see that money back, right? Like this is a single mom, 2 kids. She is over the threshold for SNAP. So like she's not getting food stamps. She's not getting rent assistance. She's, as I described, she's busting her tail, saving money. I do think that this is a way that she could cash back in on some of that, federal money that she's also put into the pot. So I think that it's huge. And I think things like this are programs that we have to have, right? Like that is how we do give people a hand up,
Yeah.
instead of just necessarily a handout.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's, it's cliche, but it's the American dream, right?
exactly.
To have, four walls and,
Yep, that's
and a
yours.
yard, yeah, that your kids can play in and
Yep.
grow up in and
Yep.
make memories. So yeah, I think it's very commendable.
Yeah, no, I think it's a blessing. I think the program's a blessing, and hopefully we can keep expanding it.
So what would you say is the hardest lesson that you've had to learn, and this could be personally or professionally,
Yeah.
and kind of how that's made you grow as a person.
I think the biggest thing, and it's not necessarily in this role, and I'll kind of hit on points where I've seen it in this role, but just from previous, and I'm young, but the life experience I've
Sure.
had so far, is to not necessarily trust everybody, right? Like I told you that I genuinely think that I approach these situations and things with the best intent, in mind.
Right.
But you have to remember that not necessarily everybody else always
Right.
has, the best intentions for either the client, or just the situation that they put themselves in. As I said before, I was in the political realm. So not to go down that rabbit hole, but we know a lot of folks there are in it for personal gain.
Sure.
I felt as though, 100 years down the road, nobody's going to remember our specific names, but they may remember the different things that we did to change the way that the community or the society operates.
Right.
So I'd say, kind of in my past life, that was kind of the biggest thing that I had to learn and start to understand that not everybody thinks the way that I do in various programs. And the same thing with home. Like, you see it where I go and do, home buyers education, or I'm talking with clients, and you can kind of tell that some folks want to gamify it, right? Like they want to see like how, and I understand that, right? Like to every federal program, it seems as though there's a way to gamify it or try to not necessarily get over, but try and get your biggest benefit from the program. And that's kind of been my big thing, is like making sure that, we're not over subsidizing certain things, and making sure that we are taking care of everybody's money, right? This is a federal program. So that means that somebody from Alaska, for example, right, has paid into this pot that we are now distributing, and to do those good things, right, like we said in our previous experience, but to make sure that we're doing it the right way, and make sure that we're not allowing folks to use and abuse certain things, to make sure that there is still money left over for folks that, as we described, really do need it. So that's kind of been my biggest, I guess, learning lesson outside of my personal experience, but just dealing with the broader environment in general, is to make sure that when you're dealing with folks, is that they have the best intention as well. And I've told you, like I try to explain it in different ways, as to where we want the program to be good for everybody, right? We're not trying to help one individual person make a bunch of money at the end of the day. We want these dollars to stretch and to hopefully bump folks up in terms of life. So I think that's been a big lesson.
Very cool. Well, I think, like I said, I'm excited personally about the future of this program, and being able to, I think that by some of the changes that have been made over the last year, again, not all of them were directly because of you, but I think that, you've done an amazing job at trying to revitalize the program. And I think that I'm just excited about the future, because I feel like now that I've got more clients that can actually take advantage of it.
Yep.
I think that there was a little bit of a stigma that, like, well, it's a great program, but who's going to really qualify for it?
Right.
So I think that some of the changes are going to make it so that more people have access, and I think that it will really be able to be utilized for what its what its goal was for. So I'm excited about it.
Yep, I definitely am too, and thank you for the opportunity. Any chance that I get to spread it out and try and change the preconceived notions that different folks have had from over the years, because of the limits that mostly HUD has put on the program, and seeing how they've recently tried to expand some things to help folks, I'm all for it. So thank you for the time, and anytime we want to get on, if we want to discuss anything else down the road, you got my contact. And
I was going to say, so I'll link in the video, obviously, like the HAP website and some of your information, but did you want to just kind of plug, like, what the website is and where people can find this information?
Yep. So if you go to cityofmartinsburg.org, you can go to the residence tab, and then under the residence tab, there is a community development page. You click on that, it'll go to, as I described earlier, those 2 federal block grant programs that we run in the community development department. But you'll see under there Home Buyers Assistance Program. And I try to keep everything fresh on there, the latest applications, the income limits, guidelines, things of those sort. But also, as I described earlier, you can reach out to me directly. I try to be a resource, right? Like I work for the government. Like I feel like when you call the government, they should answer. And if they don't answer, then they should get back to you in a prompt manner. So feel free to call me. My direct line at City Hall is 304-264-2131, extension 276. And you can also email me at croman, CROMAN, at cityofmartinsburg.org.
Okay, great. Well, Cory, I appreciate the time today, man. Like I said, I've enjoyed being able to get to know you over the last month or so, and look forward. I know I've sent you already one client your way, just since we've met recently, but looking forward. Hopefully, for those of you who might be watching this and you think that home ownership is just out of your reach, reach out, either to Cory or myself. Obviously, he's probably going to direct you to, a lender, because you're going to need to get pre-approved as part of that process. But certainly familiar with the program over the last, 5 to 6 years and working with it, and would be happy to help you out through that process. So again, thanks, Cory, and look forward to seeing what this program is going to do in the future.
Same. Thank you. And thanks for helping me get the word out about the program. And obviously, like you do, shoot any clients over to me and we can get them going.
Okay. Sounds great.
Thank you.